and to talk about your story in a way that really sets you apart, in a way that has people feel the essence of your humanness as we move into an age of robots, as we move into an age of artificial intelligence and the neural network that's happening. AI is disrupting the whole game. Your story is going to be a non-negotiable. Our mirror neurons in our brains fire differently when we hear the truth. Our mirror neurons fire differently when we hear someone talking in real time. They've done studies, and people listening to live radio have a different set of neuro what's it called, right? Like your neural pathways programming and your neural pathways firing than people listening to a pre-recording. Like live radio fires in our brains differently than an actual pre-record. And so we can see, and pop a yes in the chat if you would agree with me that we can actually see, touch, taste, and feel the reality that when something is real, when you are in the presence of somebody live sharing a true story, it's different than a script. I believe we're going to keep evolving to the point of being able to more easily and more effortlessly discern. You know, for those of us who identify with being kind of like the new human, with we identify with the skills and the superpowers of empathy and intuition and inner knowing, stories are going to be essential. So I know we've got a small group here today, but I'm excited for those of you who are watching this recording. I'm going to invite you guys to head over to Facebook and give me some love below this video, just so that we can give this video a bump. And I just want to remind you that you've been through a set of circumstances that nobody in the world has been through. And that true life story that is you is what makes you unique online. And so I'm so excited to share what I'm going to be sharing today. I'm going to be sharing the RISE framework to help you share your personal story as a way to attract clients. I'm going to be sharing how to really use your story as a differentiator to stand out in a crowded market, and to help you really feel the energy of why storytelling builds trust and builds credibility faster than any other kind of marketing trick out there. So many of you know that I live here in Santa Cruz near the beach, and I spend almost every morning down with my feet, my toes in the sand with my little dog, listening to my favorite meditations and songs, and talking with the goddess, you know, down on the beach as the sun is rising, and listening to what is mine to do each day. And I am so happy in those morning beach romps with my little dog, Hanu. And I start out each day full of gratitude. And it hasn't always been this way. I was a school teacher 12 years ago. I loved teaching. Can we pause and give some love to teachers? But I was being tapped on the shoulder to bring something different. I have a background in women's leadership, and I saw how the kids struggled. And I began to think, what if I could pour into moms and pour into women and help women bring their gifts to the world? Just felt like something would shift in me. I felt trapped in my career, and I know many of you can relate to that. And so I initiated a change. I decided to shift my own reality. I stepped away from teaching. I moved into my grandpa's RV. I started my business. At first, I didn't know what I was doing. I cried myself to sleep every night. And over the months, to my surprise, I didn't actually fail. I actually began to succeed. And first, I had one client, my first client. I'll never forget her. She was paying me $50 per session, and she was an artist that wanted to learn how to sell her art online. And within a few months of working with her, she had made $30,000 with her art. I began to think, maybe I can do this. Maybe I'm good at this. And I had 3 clients, and then I had 5 clients, and then I had 10 clients, and then I hosted my first big online event called Women on Purpose, and over 5,000 women registered. And I began to grow a women's training company. And so if you, like me, are being tapped on the shoulder, if you've started a business and you don't know how it's going to work, if you've decided to not give up on yourself, I want to invite you to really consider that you have an opportunity in front of you to share your truth, to share your real life story. I'm no different than you. My clients are no different than you. And what I want to put in front of you is the opportunity to know each day that your story is your most important marketing tool. And your clients are online looking for a solution. But when they hear your story, that's the opportunity. That's what's really going to set you apart and have them feel that like-mindedness with you. You know, the two biggest drivers of human behavior are seeking that sense of belonging and love. And when you can show people what it is that you stand for, if they can feel a sense of belonging, even locating themselves in your story, you're putting yourself in a position of know, like, and trust. So pop a yes in the chat if you are picking up what I'm laying down. And I want to introduce a framework to you upon which you can share your story, and it's called the RISE method. The RISE method is for you to start with a real now moment, right? A real now moment that your audience, your listeners, your potential clients can locate themselves within. Why is it important that it's real? It's important it's real because people feel when you're telling the truth. People feel when it's real. And it's a now moment in your life, right? It's a now moment that locates people into a life where you have something that they want, right? So you choose a story that mirrors the fears that your clients have. I chose a story of starting my business and not knowing where the money was going to come from and being terrified to step away from teaching. But I located you in a real now moment where I live in a beautiful beach home. I spend the mornings at the beach being divinely guided as an entrepreneur and a CEO. I know many of my clients want a life where they have a freedom schedule. They live somewhere that they dream about living. They start their days out in spiritual connection in order to bring that beautiful message through. And so you start your story in a moment that's real. You start your story in gratitude, and you want to start your story. I invite you to start your story sharing something about yourself that you know is going to resonate with your potential clients. I want to remind you that we choose a story that is a reflection of our clients' biggest fears, right? My clients, I know, fear whether getting their message out there is really going to work, whether their clients are really going to show up. I know my clients have oftentimes made a financial sacrifice to be able to start their business. I moved into my grandpa's RV to save money while I start my business. A lot of my clients can relate to that. What is the journey that you've been through that your clients are going to be able to relate to? Pop a yes in the chat if you can feel the importance of sharing something real and true about yourself now. And it doesn't mean you've arrived, and it doesn't mean you've made millions of dollars necessarily, and it doesn't mean that you've healed every single cell of your body perfectly, and it doesn't mean you have the perfect relationship. It means that you harness a gratitude in the now moment that your clients are going to be able to relate to. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Right? You harness a now moment where you can anchor your own gratitude. It's an energetic moment at the top of the mountain where you say, This is something that I've created in my life, and you can have it too, right? There I was down on the beach this morning, thinking about being with all of you today. There's nowhere else I'd rather be because I've built a life that is mine. And because I built this life, and because I made the choices to be here, and because I defied the odds, because I was able to leave school teaching and successfully start a multi-million-dollar speaking company, even though almost everybody in my family thought I was nuts and told me to stay in my job with my reliable health insurance and my reliable income. I did this. And hmm, that choice has given me everything else. It's given me my sense of empowerment. It's given me my sense of confidence. It's given me a sense of knowing that I'm not going to sacrifice in other places in my life. I'm going to hold steady and true to what I want my life to look like because I created this. And I invite you to think about what is it that you've created, because every single one of you listening, whether you realize it or not, you have created something that you need to give yourself credit for now. And then share that from the deepest part of your heart with your potential clients. That is what anchors us in that real now moment at the beginning of our story, right? The next step is to share how you initiated a shift. And if you're taking notes, write this down. This is the RISE method. R stands for real. I stands for initiate. Right? You initiated a shift inside yourself. And for some of you, it might have taken you a few minutes to get here. You might have even had the wrong Zoom link, which is such a metaphor for the journey of life that we go on. Sometimes people give us the wrong information, but we keep going anyway. Papa yes in the chat if you're with me. And so we initiate within ourselves. We initiate something. And if you're taking notes, write this down. You have initiated something in your life journey that has allowed you to move toward the transformation that you help your clients with. That's what we're pointing toward. Your own initiation toward a transformation. I've never said that phrase before. It's the initiation toward the transformation. And when we share that moment of initiation, we mobilize our potential clients. Can you feel the energy? I initiated my own momentum out of my JOB and into a life that I created entrepreneurially, where I called the shots. I made my own schedule. I decided who I work with, right? So, what have you initiated? You have initiated something inside of yourself. You made a move away from something that you didn't want anymore and toward the transformation that is the transformation you help your clients with, right? So, think about that moment as the initiation inside yourself, initiating the shift. And once we've done that, we show people the outcome. In my story, I showed you that there I was, crying myself to sleep each night in my grandpa's RV, going $35,000 into debt, but I didn't stop there. I didn't say, okay, I quit. I stayed at that little RV table, you know, those little fold down tables in the RV with my hand me down laptop day by day, week by week. And I kept moving toward an outcome. And to my surprise, I actually didn't fail. I actually began to succeed. And I believe that I succeeded on behalf of you. I believe that that is why the clouds parted and the sun shined down, and I got the goddess's grace upon my success so that I could be here sharing with you what I did, what's the framework that works, and support you to get a sort of cellular transmission of what it means to just bring your own love, your own authenticity, your own humility, and your own real life story into the world so that people can see what's possible in your journey. It doesn't mean that you've arrived at the top of the mountain. It just means that you've been willing to be brave enough to climb your mountain. Are you with me? So you're going to show them the outcome. And pro tip, this is a pro tip. I started to drop seeds of the framework that I used to go from one client to 5 clients to 5,000 people registered for an online event. There was a framework there. I discovered it. I followed it. I continue to hone it. And it's what I teach my clients. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? When you show the outcome, you want to allude to the fact that I discovered a framework. I discovered a process. I discovered a set of tools that I will never be without. And for that, I am grateful. And I would love nothing more than for you to have these tools as well. This is a story that sells. Can you feel the difference? Rather than just a story that entertains. And the final step of the RISE method, I can feel you feeling me. The final step of the RISE method is to extend an invitation. It's an extension where your story becomes your listener's story. Your story becomes your participant's story. On campus, in our business academy training program, we teach the art of the tie back, right? This is kind of like the tie back, where we extend the invitation. We make our story their story. And in my story, it sounded something like, I'm no different than you. If I can step away from my job, if I can face my fears, if I can deal with the debt and deal with a temporary lapse in health insurance, and I can come out on top, and I can start a successful business, and I can grow a team and grow a queendom and get to meet women like all of you, you can do it too. And if you have ever wanted a transformation, if you've ever craved a change in your career path, in your healing journey, in your parenting journey, in your relationships journey, in your journey trusting yourself, if you've ever craved a change, you're in the right place. Yes, it takes courage. No, it might not be easy every single day, but it's why we're here on planet Earth. And you deserve to create your life the way you want it. And I am here to stand for you, right? Moving toward the transformation that brought you here in the first place. Can you feel? You can feel the power of story, yes? So we share the real moment, the real now moment. We share it because we want people to feel that there is a piece of work we've done on ourselves. It doesn't mean we're perfect and we have it all figured out all the time, but it lends that credibility and trust. And then we share how we initiated a shift inside of ourselves, right? In the Business Academy training program, we talk about a turning point moment, which is important, right? We anchor the description of the shift that we knew we had to initiate into real sensory feelings, right? You can feel me there in the RV, crying myself to sleep at night, feeling very alone and scared, or you can picture me there. I want to invite each of you to bring those sensory descriptions into your story. And then you extend the invitation. If you, like me, desire to have this outcome, I'm standing for you having it. You deserve it. And so for any of you that are listening to this video, this training, I want to invite you to really continue to work on your real life story. Think about how it mirrors the offerings that you have for the world, and to anchor into the knowing that your story is what's going to set you apart in a world where AI continues to disrupt the whole kind of thing that we're doing in life. Nobody can ever take your story away from you. And your real life, true moments have a particular vibrational resonance when you share them that is different than any script that AI could ever give you. It is magnetic and it is powerful. And so if this is resonating with you, and if you would like to learn more about what it is to truly rock the virtual stage, bring your message, bring your voice, bring your truth, bring your real life stories, craft your offer, I do hope you'll join us at the Rock the Virtual Stage retreat. We're doing one coming right up. Tickets are 90% off. We're going to pop the link right here below the video because we have a few seats left. It is my absolute honor to be here. And thank you for being the very best part of Women Rocking Business. Don't forget to hit subscribe so I can keep getting you weekly content to grow your business that is relevant, authentic, and effective so you can get out there and shine your light and be the messenger that you're here to be, because your clients are waiting for you.